What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from Rogue Ales, and they're out of Newport, Oregon, and this is their Double Chocolate Stout. So they're calling this one a stout brewed with natural flavor. It comes in at 9% alcohol by volume, 68 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is approximately 7 weeks old. So it's been a very long time since I've had this beer. The last time I had this beer was in the huge 22-ounce Red Bombers. And the price point back then, it was anywhere between like 10 to 12 bucks, depending on where you went. Maybe even more expensive, but typically 10 to 12 bucks. So when I saw this one in a 16-ounce can, and the can was $3.99, I was like, you know what? I'm drinking it. I'm going to review it. And hopefully, it's still as good as I remember it being. It was never, to me, like a super amazing beer, but it was pretty damn good. Now, when it comes to Rogue, I like a lot of their classic beers. I've reviewed Dead Guy Ale on the channel. Their Hazel Brown Nectar. But yeah, I've enjoyed their regular chocolate stout. Their Mocha Porter I used to love. So I need to review more from them, especially now that the price points are a little bit less ridiculous than they used to be, because Rogue's price points used to be crazy. So anyway, with this one on the back here, it says we doubled down on our chocolate stout recipe to create this imperial version of the classic. It's just too good to deny. So share this with a special friend or treat yourself and enjoy this luxurious, creamy stout featuring intense notes of chocolate and dark roasted malts. I read the tasting notes because it's too generic tasting notes. Now, I will say this, as I crack this one open, on their website, they do list the ingredients, and they do say they're brewing this one with honey and chocolate. And then on Untappd, they said they're using imported Dutch bittersweet chocolate. So the fact they say natural flavors on here disappoints me, but at least on their website, they say exactly what they're using. So interesting. Anyway, let's give it a pour. So we'll go with something like that so I can get my nose in there. So, hoping this is good, you know? That's what I'm looking for. A good chocolate stout. I'm kind of in the mood right now for a chocolate stout. Still cold outside, you know, here in early March. So, anyway, yeah, that looks pitch black in the glass. It has about a finger of a mocha colored, maybe a little bit more of a darker brown colored head. Some alcohol legs here on the glass at 9%. Yeah, it looks like what I expect a double chocolate stout to look like. Let's get a nose. Wow, that's a lot of chocolate. Now, could be just because of the fact that I looked on their website and it said honey and chocolate, but I am getting a little bit of like a honey note in the nose. Yeah, definitely honey. But there's huge chocolate. There's sweet chocolate. There's bittering chocolate. There's dark chocolate. There's roasted malt. There's coffee. A little bit of like a caramel as well. It almost has a chocolate. So I didn't even, talk about the label, but it shows basically a chocolate bar broken up, and it has like if you've ever had like Hershey's Special Dark Chocolate, just the bar itself kind of smells like that in 9% Imperial Stout form. Yeah, almost has like a Hershey syrup kind of vibe. It worries me because they say natural flavor. But again, on the website, it says honey and chocolate. It smells somewhat synthetic and fake, like a Hershey's like syrup or something, but not like extremely to that side. Like there's still some like real chocolate notes here. Can't even smell the fucking thing properly. I'm just like, oh, where do I put my nose in? Anyway, it smells really good. It smells like an Imperial chocolate stout. It does. It's not like super complex. Maybe the most complexity to this beer is the chocolate character, because there's a lot of different things going on, but it smells pretty fucking good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. That's really nice. Really nice. So the body on this one, 9%, it's a bit thin. It's like straight up medium body, definitely thin. But the mouthfeel makes up for the lack of body with a really soft and smooth kind of feeling on the palate. It's carbonated, but it has such a soft and smooth kind of finish. You get the carbonation up front on like the tip of your tongue, middle of the tongue, and then on the finish, it just like slides down the throat. You're like, yeah, it's a real easy thing to drink. Here's the thing, 68 IBUs, a little bit more bitter than I anticipated, which is kind of welcomed. I don't want to just be drinking a liquid candy bar, because that makes a 16-ounce can very hard to drink. There's a good bitterness here. Right at the forefront, you get a lot of chocolate. It's like a chocolate candy bar. There's a lot of like sweet chocolate, sweet milk chocolate, sweet or dark chocolate. Not a ton of like bittering chocolate, so more to the sweet side. Right after that, there's roasted malt. There's a decent amount of like a coffee roast, slight caramel thing going on. Then middle of the palate, it flips the switch and flips the script real quickly. It goes from all that sweet, malty chocolate goodness, and then there's real nice earthy bitterness that hits, and it carries on the back of the palate. There's a slight like hop, like earthy hop note in this one. And again, this is relatively fresh. It's 7 weeks old, less than 2 months old. And that hop character, I would have loved to have this like a week old and see how big that hop character is. I'm not saying it's approaching like a really crazy like Russian Imperial Stout that has a lot of hop character, or like an Imperial Black IPA or anything. I'm just saying there's a big hop character, or a big bitterness for something that I didn't think would have that bitterness. Yeah, it finishes moderately bitter on the back of the palate, semi-dry. I love the drinkability of this one because, again, and I don't know how many times I can say this in my review, but really any beer that's very similar and akin to this one. The thing for me that I purposely look to nowadays when we're talking about beers and their drinkability, the cheat word is balance, because a lot of people say don't use balance when you're reviewing any kind of beer, because it's very generic and just, wow, it's balance. What I always mean by that is like, what balances out what? In this case, that sweet malt goodness at the front of the palate is balanced out by the earthy, hoppy bitterness on the back of the palate. So you get all that sweet, malty goodness up front, and the back of the palate, it dries out and it bitters out. Shout out to the Sun Pump. What that leaves you with is a beer that on the back of the palate is, quite bitter and dry, and it makes you go back for more. And then you're like, hey, man, that's a lot of good chocolate. Oh, I like that coffee roast. Oh, I like the roasted malts. And then you're like, yeah, the earthy bitterness starting to build back up. I think I want to go back for another sip. And you do. Rinse and repeat until it's gone. This is really nice. The reason I brought back shelfie beer reviews for this month, and why I'm going to try to do them every month going forward, is because I don't typically pick up beers like this anymore. The stuff that I pick up is usually hyped, or it's in my wheelhouse of what I enjoy stylistically. I will say this is in my wheelhouse of what I enjoy stylistically. A double chocolate Imperial Stout. Yeah, that's me. So I'm glad I picked this one up. I'm glad that it's relatively fresh, and I'm glad I'm reviewing it right now. Why? Because this is really fucking good. And a lot of people will poo-poo on Rogue or even just like the bigger and national craft breweries saying that's mainstream or whatever. Listen, a lot of us got into craft beer because of beers and breweries like this. So to revisit them, it's not just nostalgia. It's honestly like going back and saying, wow, this is actually a really well-brewed, well-put-together, well-made beer. And I have no problem saying that. If the beer is good, the beer is good. I don't fucking care what brewery it is. I don't care if they're hyped. I don't care if they're old school. I don't care if they're a big macro or they're a super small, nano brewery. You make good beer, you make good beer. And Rogue, this beer is good. So not much more to say about it. I really enjoy it. 9%. I am feeling it a little bit into the chest, a little bit just like in general feeling it. No astringency on the palate. Maybe a little bit of that dryness is an alcohol dryness, but I don't think so. I think it's more of a hop character. So it doesn't hide it necessarily all that well. I can tell you this is 8 to 9%, so whatever. But who cares? It's drinking extremely well, so I don't really care. It's not amazing and mind-blowing and absolutely just fucking delicious, but it's really damn good. And I have no problems giving Rogue's Double Chocolate Stout I'm not going to say, I think that, is this a rotating offering? Is this a winter seasonal? I don't know. I don't think they really say, but I'm going to give this a low 4.25 out of 5 and go 4.2 out of 5. This is fucking awesome. It's awesome beer. I really like it. So price point availability, $3.99 I paid for that can. I want to say 4 packs of this were like $14 to $16, which I was always on the horse of bombers are just a ripoff, and they always have been. And this just proves another point where when this was in those big 22-ounce red bottles, I think, again, that was 10 to 12 bucks for that, and you got 22 ounces. This is 16 ounces, 6 ounces less, and this costs anywhere between $6 to $8 less. You do the math. Cans are fantastic, and I'm glad that they put this in a can because I picked this up because it was in a can. If it was in one of those bombers for 10, 12 bucks, I'm not buying it. That's just crazy. For $4 for this can, all fucking day long. So I think the price point on this is fantastic for a 9% double chocolate imperial stout. Like, yes. And availability, wherever you see Rogue, you should see this. Again, I don't know if it's a seasonal or like a rotating offering, but if you do get Rogue beers, this is one of those beers you should see, whether it's a seasonal or rotating offering or whatever. You should see this one. And I don't have much more to say about it. So in the description box, post, or in the description, but you can't post in the description box. I can post in the comment section. That's what I meant to say. See, I'm already starting to feel a buzz. In the comment section, post if you've had this one before. I would really like to know. I don't even care if you've had this one 10, 15 years ago. Let me know what you think about this one, no matter when you had it. If you've had it recently in the cans or within the past couple of years, definitely let me know what you think about it. Now, here's the thing too. If you've had this one recently and you had it years ago, what do you think? I don't, the one difference that I am noticing about this beer compared to when I had it, whatever it was, I think I haven't had this one in a good 7 to 8 years. I think there's a little bit more hop bitterness that I'm recognizing here. But here's the thing. I don't know if I've ever had it this fresh. And this isn't crazy fresh, 7 weeks old, but it's fresh enough. So, yeah, I'm done here. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.